shit.
Yeah.
I was watching another clip.
Let's see what they give us here. Testing. I think I'm on mic 2. Two. Say something.
Testing.
Yeah, I think you're on mic 3. Just a little different today.
Jesus Christ.
Let's get this thing rolling, man. On the Bench Podcast.
Being that I'm here right now, I'ma go and get it right now, get committed right now. I'ma do some shit that's gonna uplift a bunch of people's spirit right now, help them heal it right now. I'ma get them riches right now. Work plan, manifest, be speak that shit into existence right now. Can't slow down, got the vision wrote down, cause I seen it, man, I'm on right now. Focus in the motherfuckers where I'm in the zone right now. Ain't no later, dog, it's only right now.
And it's only right now.
It creates.
Right now.
No past, no future right now. All I got is right now. No past, no future right now. All I got is right now. Fuck what they did to me, gon' do, cause all I get is right now. Fuck what they did to me, gon' do, cause all I get is right now. So I focus on that when I can focus on now. Pull up at a beach on the outskirts of town. Enjoy the view and give thanks to the truth. And I go hit the yo just to shut that bitch down.
And I'm high right now. So alive right now. Clear skies right now. Living my life by my own rules. I feel what I choose.
I'm walking straight and narrow, but it's just straight and narrow. Do it now. Gonna take some words, okay? And I'm right back at it. Divine alignment, fully automatic. I don't think about it. I just watch it happen. I just move toward it and I get supported. When I try to force it, it just get distorted. So I dance with it. Crystals all in my pants with it. Healing all in my hands with it. I'm an alchemist. I'm a master. I'm a rabbi. I'm a sensei. I'm a bad guy. I'm an alien. I'm an animal. I'm a cannibal. I'm so handsome, no. Yo.
And I'm high right now. Can barely open my eyes right now.
And that money we making it. Climbing these ladders and laying foundation, that's masonry. This shit is different, cause my dreams are literally chasing me. Grateful for where life is taking me. I'm living life that's to say the least. Only true beauty can tame the beast. Only true love can tame that beast.
Are you here with me right now? Right now. Vibe with me. Vibe with me right now. Right now, yeah.
It'll help if I turn the mics on. You guys are back on the Bench Podcast with Bubba and Pink. Pink, what's going on, my man?
Not much, man. Ready to do the show.
That's right. On the Bench Podcast Live. We are available on all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff, man. Got a good show for you guys today. I like to think so. Talking all trending topics in sports, music, and entertainment there. We got some big games in the NFL coming up. You got Cowboys, Eagles. That's going to be a huge game. Chiefs, Bills. That's going to be a huge game, of course. We're going to give a review of the Team USA doc, the Redeem Team. Pink doesn't know where I'm going with that. He's curious.
I enjoyed it.
Draymond, as his punishment has been laid out, and he's been sentenced.
Okay.
And a lot more good stuff on the show for sure, man. Got some insensitive comments that they're trying to get Troy Aikman out of here. We'll see if that happens or not.
Keep Troy around.
he's like okay to me. It's like he's not a bad broadcaster, but sometimes I can go 40 minutes without even knowing he's calling the game.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
As far as the broadcast, he's like average.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
average.
Just plain average.
And ironically, largely inoffensive.
No, for sure.
Maybe he just felt the need to be a little bit more controversial
There you go.
and improve his profile and
You got to boil the pot a little bit, man. You know?
stir it. Don't boil the
Don't-
shit.
Okay, you got to stir it.
Boiling, that'll actually get you in some trouble.
I might have gotten into some trouble this past weekend, my man.
I would hope so. You don't go down to Carnival to sit on the sideline.
That's right, man. Miami Carnival 2022. And it was just what an awesome time I had, man. I always say, man, 15 stars out of 5.
You always say that. That's one of your catchphrases?
It's one of my catchphrases.
Hey, we have
it's
matching
rare.
shirts on today. I just got to notice that.
We do?
Yeah, we both got the Florida bread.
Shout out to Florida Bread, man.
Yeah.
Get you one. If you're from Florida, you're bred in Florida, you got to get you a shirt.
Even if you're not, you just
Even
come
if
down
you're
here and
not.
stay for a while like me.
That's right. You can blend in.
Connecticut bread doesn't quite have the same vibe.
But yeah, man, it was crazy. So, of course, you know, it's a lot of different cultures. I love the culture. That's maybe the second thing that I love. The first thing that I love, of course, it's like a billion beautiful women all in one place.
Okay.
But the culture is great too, because you have all these different cultures, all these different people, whatever. I can't name all the different islands and countries and
It's
and
not.
everything.
I thought it was like largely Caribbean.
It's largely Caribbean, but they show a little love to, you know, they show a little love. They play Afro beats and things like that. So they show love to Africa as well, and they show it's a lot of love there, period. And that's what I wanted to get into. But first, just quickly explaining, like when I got there, it's like a week-long event there. And they're celebrating and having a great time and things like that, and the Carnival is always that Sunday, and that's in most places. A lot of different places have. Orlando has its own Carnival, you know, and Atlanta, Boston, New York, a lot of different places in the United States have their own Carnival, but there's a lot of different fetes surrounding the Carnival. You know, they're like parties, and all different kinds. Cooler fetes where you can bring your own liquor and stuff like that to the party. And
Could be cost effective.
Yeah, you have wet fetes or foam fetes where they have foam there, or whatever. They have big holes of water where they're bringing out. And
Big
tubs.
hose, I'm sure.
Then you got different types of juvets. You got the main juvet that is mainly typically on Saturday. That's like everybody comes out for Juve, and that's in Miami. It was at the fairgrounds this year, and you know, yeah, everybody out there with their flags and they're repping the island and the country, and they were dancing and they're drinking, and having a good time, and you know, it's just such a huge difference, man, between island women and just like American women. Like you were looking at. Like these women are staring, they're face to face, same 10 to 10 as like Rihanna and Beyonce's, right? No, and I'm dead ass serious.
No hyperbole on your part.
And these women are so like they're just not stuck up at all. It's like you can you go up, you're having like basic, you have conversations with them, you know, and they're dancing with you, they're whatever. And, you know, because if I go to like a lounge or a bar here downtown Orlando, first of all, I'm never going to see any women that look like that. But if I was to happen to get one that looks close.
Ladies of Orlando, stand up against Bubba and this bullshit he's spewing.
If I come to one that looks close, they're gonna be stuck up. They're gonna like who are you? Like, what are you doing in my face? Like, you know what I mean? Buy me a drink or move the hell on. Like you know, you don't have to buy an island woman a drink or fucking, you know, just pay their Airbnb for the weekend to fucking ask them what their name is. Like, it's not. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's just, and then it's like, it's. Like they just want to make sure you have a great time. Like that's what it's like.
You personally.
Whatever got it there, entertaining. You know what I mean? And it's just it'll change if it just changes your fucking life. You know what I mean? It just does.
Is it hard to come back to Orlando after that and
It's extremely
deal with
hard,
these
man.
stuck-up women?
It's
Want you
extremely,
to pay bills and stuff?
extremely hard.
Really?
It really is. And
I can see the emotional letdown.
and it's like, because I have an affinity for Haitian women, but it's like they're like that also from Jamaica and St. Lucia, and you know what I mean. It's just it's a Caribbean thing. I don't know. Even the ones that are like born and raised in America, it's still a difference. It's still, you know what I mean. I don't know if
Caribbean women that were born and raised in the States.
Yeah,
They still carry the culture.
They still carry the culture. They still carry the culture.
Do you have like a bucket list where you want to bang somebody from every island?
No.
Really?
No.
I'm kind of disappointed in you.
I have some that have favorites. Like I wouldn't mind. The Trinidadians are very beautiful and voluptuous. Haitians are my favorite. It's my favorite island there. But they're all great, man.
But I was gonna say, like, Haiti's been your favorite island, but like, did this weekend maybe change some things? Did another island come storming up, making a run?
Not an island, but this is the first time I ever seen like so many Africans in one place, right?
Okay.
So getting to meet, I met some African women as well, and that was a difference for me because I don't get to meet, but that's still the same program. It's the same It's the
Really?
same. Yeah, it's the same. So
We
don't
haven't
get them confused with African American.
We have an African woman in our accounting department at work.
Yeah,
She's kind of harsh.
she's harsh.
Yeah.
No, you have to break. They talk a little aggressively, but I don't know. That's not their personality.
Persistence will pay off.
Yeah,
Break
man.
down some walls.
Yeah, that's it, man. Literally and physically.
Could you all?
In case the people didn't know, a good joke is never explained thoroughly, man. You should have let that just fly.
Really? Yeah. I always like to hammer the nail.
But yeah, man, I can't wait until the next one.
Do you have like any good stories at all? Just something funny happening, or
Not necessarily, man. It's good times and good vibes. You can't really. It's nothing really like extremely crazy going on. It may be crazy on the outside looking in, like the way the party is. I mean, it looks like people are just, it looks like 10,000 people having sex in a field. That's what it looks like, but
kind of disappointed it's not actually that way?
No, and I like it's never any like I didn't see any fighting. Definitely wasn't any shooting. And it's just, and when you get that many people together in one space and in a confined area, you would think something like that is going to happen, but it just didn't, because it's just and it hardly ever does.
Here's a question I have: what was the police presence of the event?
They're there. They
are there,
and the women go up. They're dancing on them and stuff like that too.
Okay.
That'll make the IG and the social media runs. And they just they stand there with this stonewall face like they're still patrolling the area.
But my penis might be getting hard right now.
Well, this goddamn Beyonce character is like dancing all on me with like nothing on. You know what I mean?
Hey, there you go, man. There you go. Now that kind of contradicts my theory, though. I thought that I have a theory that police presence sort of exacerbates hostility. And I think if the police are either not as prolific or kind of at a remove, that you actually have a better chance for people being peaceful.
Possibly, but no, and you have to have it because you just never know. And it's it's open to public, so really anybody can come in if they buy a ticket. So you just never know what nutsos or crazos is going to be.
That's true.
Around. Yeah. You got to protect these. You got to protect the women, man. Anything to make them feel comfortable and at ease, so Bubba can come in.
CUM.
Once again, you guys are on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink. We're available on all podcast streaming platforms, homes of sports, music, and mayhem. Don't forget about our first ever sponsor here, overkink.com. Use promo code Bubba Pink, and you get your discount on all of your bedroom needs. All right, once again, that is overkink.com. Use promo code Bubba Pink.
I forgot to select a toy today.
You did.
I did.
We'll get back to it, man. We have
We'll circle back.
Have
next
1,000 weeks to go. We don't want to run out, and even though it'll take a while now because the product,
the roster is deep there at
overkink.com.
overkink.com.
It is deep. Let's see what we want to go to, man. We got some NFL here. We have some NBA. I have a relationship topic, ish, not relationship, but
Let's go
dating.
NFL and then circle back to relationship-ish topics.
NFL. Let's see here. First one on the docket here, man. There's some big games coming up this weekend, and the first one on the docket: Cowboys versus the Eagles. Man, Eagles are the lone remaining undefeated team in the NFL. The Cowboys only lost one game. They have, but their backup quarterback is undefeated. So
he may not be the backup quarterback anymore. I think it's kind of funny that you have Dak Prescott on the promo there.
Yeah, because he's back at practice. I don't know if he ever left practice because he's everywhere. He's at the press conferences.
He's doing his best, Drake.
He's bouncing up at everywhere the mic is at. So I don't know. He feels threatened, man. Dak Prescott feels threatened over Cooper Rush, and I don't know what's going to come of this because this is what I know. The defense is carrying this team to these wins. We know that. Micah
Parsons is incredible.
Top 5 player in the league, top 10, I guess, because quarterbacks got to be weighted a little higher. But he's still a hell of a player. And that entire defense is playing at an elite level, top 2 defenses in the league. I read a thing this morning, 49ers is technically number 1 if you talk numbers, but Dallas is right there. But because of that, and because of Cooper, this team has been allowed to play the way that we all thought this team would play years ago. That's running the ball, playing defense, take a couple shots down the field as the game progresses. But with Dak in the game, a highly paid quarterback, I guess coaching and the front office, I don't know, but I guess they feel, we got to let our quarterback engineer these games. We got to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's talented enough to do it. Dak, anybody who watches the Cowboys games, they know, Dak, he'll load up on the bad teams, 300, 400 yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns against the good teams, and then in the clutch, he's just nowhere to be found. He's either throwing interceptions or he's ineffective. So I don't know what card they're going to play, man. This is the best team in the league they're going against.
I think that for this week, they absolutely have to go with Cooper Rush. I think they're undefeated with him. Like, you've got to roll with that. You have a great momentum. I mean, it's like in basketball. Like, you have a unit of players out there, and they're making a great run.
But at what
you're
point,
not going to just stop it just arbitrarily.
What level of a player does that not apply to? Because speaking in terms, Dak is a max contract quarterback. He's top whatever. What like if Mahomes got hurt and the backup quarterback is 5-0 in his absence, Mahomes
is coming back. Yeah, Dak's
what
not at that level. I would
Josh
say
Allen there. Who
I would
Brady?
say probably the top 5, 6 names. Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Not those two guys. Not 100% on performance right this moment, but certainly Pat
Stature
and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But I think Dak, again, it's what what have you done for them lately? And they were 0-1 with him. They looked very bad in week 1. He wasn't particularly good. He gets hurt. This guy's playing great. And I mean, to me, he's playing well enough that, like, long term, you say, well, you start to ask, well, what is the viability of getting out of Dak's contract? Is there a window to get rid of him?
I don't think we've seen that yet. I had to.
I
take a step
guarantee
back.
you that
I was on the
somebody
Cooper bus.
that somebody in the front office of the Cowboys is looking at that.
That's fair.
I mean, and you're foolish not to.
Yes, but he's not. He's not killing in these games. What he's doing is he's not losing these games. And Dak is capable of losing you a couple of games here and there. He has done that in the past. What Cooper is doing, he's not killing you. But he's not going out and he's not deadly.
Well, he's not slinging it around
Yeah,
for
he's not slinging
350
around the
yards
full
and a
field.
bunch of touchdowns. I get it, but right now they are locked in on a winning formula.
Yes,
and I
they're
think
locked in
that
on a
right
winning formula.
now you just don't make a change. Dak, although he might be paid like a top 5 quarterback, I don't think there's a person in the league that really puts him in that top 5. When you have to put names,
Yeah, when you have to put names.
you can say, I like Dak a lot,
Top
or whatever,
five, whatever.
But when you got to put names, he ain't coming up in the top 5, probably not the top 7 or 8. For most knowledgeable people. So, I say you roll with this momentum. We know Cooper Rush isn't going to win forever. He's not going to be undefeated this year.
And that's the thing, because the Cowboys are in a really good position, right? Because their backup came in and won every game while their starter was hurt. So they could just keep rolling it. But so say if the Dallas loses, Cooper Rush goes out, starts this weekend, and they lose to the Eagles. Then there would be a crowd that says, okay, well, that was a great run. Now Dak is fully healthy. We rested him a game where he probably could have played.
Right.
And he comes back the next week. But what if it's a close loss? And Cooper didn't do anything wrong, but they lost. Then what?
I err on the side of it. I mean, I like what Cooper Rush is doing. I mean, if he goes out and has a stinker, then you have the safe fallback of, Dak's well rested. We didn't want to ruin a good thing, but now it's time to get on with him.
Exactly.
But if he plays really good football in a close loss to the only undefeated team in the league, there's no urgency to get rid of bench him or anything. I mean, honestly, the softest sell the Cowboys can have here is that the Eagles win a relatively close game, but maybe Cooper gets banged up a little bit. Not something bad, break a hand or whatever happened to Dak, but whatever, he's a little banged up. It's an easy transition.
I think that's what Dak needs. I think the Cowboys are in a great position. They're not. I mean, they're in an awesome position. Dak is in a god awful position.
And you felt that. You made the
He's in a
comment
god-awful
like he jumped on the on the podium the other day and kind of made this self-serving comment about how explosive the offense could be if everyone's healthy and he's the only injured guy.
Only injured.
That's just that's insecurity speaking.
Yeah.
That's feeling pressure, and there's a reality to that we look from the outside at pro sports and look at some of the contracts and just kind of feeling like dudes have it made, but you don't. And you're a top 5 paid quarterback and you have an injury in week 2 or 1 or whatever the heck had happened, and your job's on the line.
Yeah.
And there's people in that building right now assessing, can we get out of this contract? And that's where you are.
That's where you are, man.
And it's happened to a ton of guys. It's not unique.
No.
He
got his start this same way.
Exactly.
Tony got hurt. But only difference is, Cooper is a little bit older than what Dak was, but Dak was on a rookie contract, coming out of 4th or 5th round, so he was really cheap. And Tony got hurt. And Dak went he was undefeated during that stretch.
And in kind of the other similarity to this, I know not so much the age of the guy, but at that point you looked at Tony Romo, and Tony Romo was getting hurt a lot in late his career, and you felt like when we really take a step back and look at it, Tony played some good football, but we never won a damn thing with him.
Right.
And now the same exact thing. Dak,
thing,
we're paying him a lot. He's had some good games, but we haven't won a damn thing with him. And now we got a younger guy, and we're winning. Why disrupt this?
Yeah.
It's cyclical, but there's a harsh reality of pro sports, and it's like, where are you?
Right.
Just a side story, like Kemba Walker, who's been a good NBA player. He's at a place where nobody wants him. There's just no room for him in the league. What he brings to the table is not compelling enough for what you'd either have to pay or the opportunity to develop a younger player.
Right.
And that's that's the reality of sports, man. It is a harsh business.
Yeah, it just is. And look at on the Eagles side, because they're the least publicized undefeated team I've ever seen.
Really?
And I'm not a believer yet as far as like a Super Bowl team, but they're a hell of a team, man. One of the best secondaries in the league. Jalen has played consistent this year.
Well, they got him the weapons. They got AJ
Yeah,
Brown.
they got him AJ.
They don't have a great back, but they have a couple guys that seem to be effective. Devontae Smith has done well. They're just really, to me, they're a very together team. And I don't want to overstate this, but like, I do pay close attention to like the vibes a team gives off.
Right.
And they are a group that like they seem to enjoy playing with each other and trust each other. And that carries a lot of weight, man. It really does. And when you talk about, at any given time, I would say half the teams in the league are blatantly dysfunctional if you're close enough to it. There's rivalries, there's pettiness, there's whatever. And, there's a handful that are like, yeah, they're together. They care. They're into it. And I definitely feel that with this Eagles team. So when you have that, you can win it all.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. And they have good coaching. So we'll see where that goes. Right now they're 5-point favorites. Which is, that's tricky, man. I would think they'll be more closer to 7 points at home. Dallas is on the road. Is this a night game? Let me see. No, this is a Sunday night game.
The Eagles, I mean, like they haven't always clobbered people. Though.
They moved up to 6 points, so
yeah,
the smart money is going on the Eagles.
Yeah, but they haven't exactly clobbered people.
No, they haven't.
And you got to factor that in.
Yeah, you have to. Close win against the Cardinals, close wins against the Jags, and close win against the Detroit Lions. They did blow out Washington, but
who hasn't blown out Washington? No, but the Cardinals, the Jags,
and Detroit
Lions, those aren't good teams either.
Right.
You're not eking out a tight win over Buffalo.
Right, and that's another thing. The schedule has been fairly. When does it get tough? Let me see, because they haven't had they haven't played anybody yet. And after Dallas, they have a bye. Then they have the Steelers. They play Houston, Washington again. I mean, damn, this schedule. You could start stacking the wins and feel like, hey, we might get to week 8 or 9 before. No shit, Pink. Look at this schedule. I don't see one hard team on the schedule. Pittsburgh, Houston, Washington, the Colts, Green Bay, who before the season you could look at that, but now it's not a good team. Tennessee Titans, who the hell knows what version quarterback you're going to get that day.
Yeah.
The Giants,
Giants have been a pleasant surprise.
The Bears,
Garbage.
Cowboys again, New Orleans Saints, who have plummeted, and the Giants again. That schedule is like
that's the rest of their games.
That's the rest of their games.
Damn. Wow.
That's Christmas every week.
They'll win 13 or 14 at a minimum.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's really a soft schedule. Yeah.
And then what did we have? We also have Chiefs and Bills. I thought I had
the rematch of one of the great games ever played. No lie. I mean, it was an incredible game.
So Chiefs and Bills, like you said, one of the in the playoffs last year. Now, but they also played in the regular season last year, and the Bills won. Bills beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead, right at Kansas City. So and then Kansas City got their revenge in the playoffs, and now maybe Buffalo comes back. And that's what great teams do. I mean, they rotate and transfer games, but this week a lot of the buzz has been, I'm in these betting circles, is that the Bills, the Chiefs are at home, but the Bills are 3-point favorites, and that is wild. That is wild because they have the same record. The Bills, they haven't beaten anyone, of note, I mean, you could say the Rams, but the Rams have been up and down all season, mostly down lately because Stafford only throws to one human being on the entire roster. And, and they beating Tennessee. The Ravens were a good win. That was a good win.
Yeah, that was nice.
Ravens was up, and the Bills had to come back win.
And the Bills let the epic they lost to the
Dolphins. They lost to the Dolphins. That was their loss.
Yeah.
But that was with Tua. It's not like that was the backup.
Yeah.
Teddy or anybody. So yeah, I mean these are two great teams. But when a team is at home, if you have two fairly even teams, and the team at home is supposed to be the favorite, that's just how it goes. So they believe that the Buffalo Bills are really technically about 6 to 7 points better than Kansas City. I just don't see that, man. But we'll find out.
I think that. Now that Gabe Davis is back, and he was hampered. He was hampered for a little bit. And then I do think that there's a thing like I felt it early with the Bills is that they're locked in. They're in that place where like we didn't get it done, and we're hitting this thing coming for everybody. And everybody is in particular the Chiefs who knocked them out.
Yeah.
I think the Bills will be highly motivated. Not to say the Chiefs won't be, but I get maybe where that betting thing is coming from. It feels like this game's probably more important to the Bills and not allowing any sort of kind of mental mind fuck get on top of them before they go to the playoffs.
Yeah, and they have they're rocking the top 5 defense. That's the only thing, man. In my entire life being a Chiefs fan, I mean, I never remember a strong defense. We always have a weak defense, man. Even back in the day with Trent Green and those guys. And this year our defense is mostly. I mean, our secondary, man, it's just really fucking bad, man. It's really bad, And then you have Josh Allen coming into town, man, with this passing attack. So I don't know. I'm definitely staying away from this game, gambling wise. It would be smart to take Chiefs plus the points, but it's only 3, and Josh Allen gets to go against a terrible secondary. That's just cause for any concern.
And nobody's bothered Josh Allen yet.
Anyhow.
I mean, they lost the game, but I mean, it was a game where I think he threw for almost 380 yards.
And
so yeah, I mean, he's gonna move the ball. They're gonna score points. The Chiefs do have the talent to match, but I think that'll be the challenge.
Yeah, that'll be the challenge. Yeah,
and then, I mean, again, the Chiefs. Again, you look at it. They played the Monday night game.
Yeah,
day less to prepare. That was a close game that they could have gone either way.
Oh, they played some good. They played. Yeah. Oh, you talking about the quality of opponents?
Quality of the game, quality of win.
Yeah, so they beat Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay. Put up 41 in that game, and Tampa Bay has a top 5 defense.
Yeah, they were brilliant against the Bucs. That they had that real brain fart game against the Colts. Yeah. But I guess I'm just saying, if you look at this 7-day cycle, they're going to play the Bills with a day less rest.
Yeah,
and having played a tough game, not a game
against
where they
the Raiders,
not a game where they cruised. And we're up, 2 touchdowns and kind of, wound the game down.
And some people think, and that's why a lot of people took the Raiders plus the 7 because it's a look ahead. A lot of people thinking, well, they know that they have Buffalo the next week. Maybe they're peekabooing, to the next week. But they have such a veteran coach. I don't know how much that played a factor in it.
No, I don't think so. I mean, the Raiders were clearly up to play. The Chiefs had we talked about a pass defense, but they really let Josh Jacobs get rolling on the ground.
Oh man, they had a really good, really good rushing attack there. The Raiders are they are a good team. They've caught some bad breaks this year, but they really are a good team. They're proven to be the second best team in the AFC West.
Clifford Gaines, this is for you.
Yeah, they're proven to be the second best team in the AFC West. When a lot of people were picking the Chargers, they were picking the Chargers to win the AFC West, and they were picking Denver to be, first or second. So,
Denver's been a disaster.
Yeah.
The Chargers,
they've been the Chargers.
You got it. And you can. There was all that Justin Herbert love in the preseason.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's something to this guy that he looks the part, but he might not be the part.
I don't think it's Herbert, man. It's the team and organization. Like they always have tons of talent on that team, always. And this year is no difference. It's no different, but they can't. It's just like they can't get over the hump. They make the bad decisions in the times you're not supposed to.
I'm not excusing the organization, but like the way Justin Herbert was talked about this preseason, it was that he was going to be one of those transcendent dudes.
Yeah.
And he's not getting there.
You
yet.
haven't seen it yet.
And that and that's the thing. I held a little reservation on it because I hadn't seen it. But now, I mean, 4 or 5 games into this, that's what he's showing.
Yeah, with losses to Jacksonville and Kansas City, and they
threw a big pick in the KC game.
Yeah,
like that. I mean, that was on him. I mean, arguably miscommunication, but whatever.
And their wins have been really close. They beat the Browns by 2, a bad Browns team by 2 points.
Yeah,
and beat the Raiders by a couple of points. But we'll see. But back to the Chiefs Raiders game. I wanted to play a little clip from the Kelce's here. Travis Kelce, of course, the tight end that everyone knows and that plays fantasy football. You better know him.
4-tutty day.
And his brother, who is offensive lineman with the Eagles.
For the undefeated Philadelphia
Eagles. They have a podcast, and here's a little clip from that.
You scored 4 touchdowns.
That was crazy, man. During the game, I was like, man, I really do have 3 touchdowns right now going into the drive for the 4th touchdown. I mean, the 4 touchdowns are cool and all, but it was how we got to the red zone that I got really excited about, man.
Josh McDaniels at halftime literally said their entire game plan essentially was to stop you. I'm not making that up. And you saw it all night. They were butchering you with the DN, putting you in double coverage, but that doesn't negate from the fact that you can't only have 25 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. If that isn't the most selfish stat I've ever seen in my life, let me do 0 work and just show up and get all the glory. I'm going to go dance in the end zone.
I didn't dance one fucking time because I was dog shit tired. They were all 10, 11, 12 play drives.
The other thing I had a problem with is after the game, you said those touchdowns are for you, Mom. Why do you think you can buy Mom's love with touchdowns?
Mom, I can't give you kids quite yet, but I can give you touchdowns. How's 4 of them sound, Mom?
Guys.
Yeah, man. I can't give you kids just quite yet, but I can give you some touchdowns. Mom, I hope you drafted me in fantasy. You better have started me this week. But
that's funny.
But yeah. I mean, he has 20 something receiving yards with 4 touchdowns. Yeah. Travis, he's a beast. He's one of the best, probably the best pass catching tight end in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, Darren Waller's fallen off, and he was injured or didn't play the other day. He hasn't done anything this year. He's on my fantasy team. He's killing me.
Yeah.
And then nobody else is really on that level.
No. Kyle Pitts has taken a nosedive to hell this year.
Exactly.
And he was supposed to be the next.
Next young guy with a ton of talent and just hasn't put up numbers. The team struggled too.
Yeah.
But there's nobody else in his class.
Kittle is in that class. The thing about Kittle is he's such a great blocker as well. Like he's a 20 times better blocker than Kelce.
But like, again, we look at it like, I mean, he hasn't had a good, big statistical game yet this year.
He's at one. He's at one because I have him, but just one.
Yeah.
And that's about
but
it.
I mean,
and it wasn't this.
I say 2-3 years ago he was more productive offensively.
Yeah, and he's a guy. So 2 things. I'm gonna tell you one thing I heard. I heard this morning. I looked it up. So Kelce has only missed like 3 games in his career.
Yeah.
Which is
knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood, which is outrageous. These tight ends that we're mentioning with him, they're just often injured. I mean, Kittle has had terrible injury last two seasons.
Yeah, he always is missing time.
Waller is always missing time. Kyle Pitts is out now.
And then another guy you go back to is a huge comparison is Gronk. Gronk always missed games. He took a beating.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, to play the way that he does, and again, I knock on wood because I love the guy. Like his record of health is phenomenal.
He has more wiggle than those guys.
Yes,
he doesn't
right.
take the huge hits that tight ends take because they're going across the middle and they're big lumbering type of guys.
Yeah.
And Gronk, it was a lot more because of his size. Like he's 6'7" and fucking whatever, 280. You have to hit him low. Like if you're a safety or a corner, you just have to, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you have no shot.
But he also, like, again, I feel like a lot of the balls that Travis catches, he's not catching hospital balls.
Nah.
He's catching balls that are kind of like on the break a little bit, in or out, and then he's turning and running.
Yeah.
Gronk, I mean, I feel like you could have a 50 or 60 catch highlight reel of him catching balls kind of down the seam, focused on the ball, and just getting decked by somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a hospital ball.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, I guess nuances of the offenses or whatever, but Gronk honestly was on a lot of suicide missions.
Who would you rather have?
I mean, honestly, I'm big on durability, and I would go with Travis on that just because of the durability. But I mean, both of those guys for me are hands down Hall of Fame dudes. And like I said, I'm not necessarily blaming Gronk for those types of catches. I just feel like that was kind of the way he was used.
Yeah.
It's like, you just don't see Travis run as many as sort of the deeper seam routes. They get him in spaces where he's coming in and out of breaks. And you're right, though. Athletically, he's always got like a really nice wiggle to him and a fluidity that belies his size and stature.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. I didn't take him in any of my fantasy leagues, so I feel kind of bad.
I have him in one league, not in the other.
But yeah,
he's easily in my top 10 favorite people in football.
No, did you ever catch his dating show?
No, he had a dating show.
Yeah, like a I Love Travis type of show where he has all these women.
Oh,
and they're vying for his love.
I always thought he had that on again, off again girlfriend that he wouldn't buy stuff for. So I didn't know he was in that mix.
But no, yeah, he's a hell of a he's of a what's the word I'm looking for? Not entertainer, but a personality.
He's a ladies' man though, because like you ever notice on Instagram, like when there's likes on stuff, like if the first like's typically going to be somebody that you know, and it's so funny because Travis Kelce, you'll always see chicks that you know liking his stuff, like more so than other players.
Yeah,
it's really weird. It's like, I didn't know you even knew who football was.
Yeah,
I like Travis Kelce. I don't know about football. I like Travis Kelce.
I like Travis Kelce.
Dude, you always see that. That's the thing, man.
No, for sure. Well, we'll see how that game goes. Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs is going to be a good one for sure.
I'm going Philly and Buffalo for the wins. I'm not a betting man, so I'm not doing the points.
No. Yeah, you like Philly and Buffalo to
win those two games.
Win those two games. All right. It depends on who starts for me. The last thing I'll say on that Dallas Eagles I just thought about, because if Dak does rush back and plays, and he loses, and he doesn't look that good, like nobody's gonna fucking care about you being halfway hurt. Like it's like you better be sure you can fucking play, man. Because nobody's gonna care about that damn hand, and you come out and you underperform. And
no, you're right. You look at that situation, and starting Cooper Rush literally protects Dak.
Yeah.
In this game.
Yeah.
Because Philadelphia's really good
and a great defense. It's
yeah.
Not like
and you're 100%. If he comes in, doesn't play well, and and they lose. It's like, damn, we never should have brought him out of injury. And the other side, I can't wrap my head around not starting Cooper Rush this week.
For what? Yeah,
the win streak,
yeah,
the way the teams function, and then it's also the safest thing. If he plays bad and you lose, you could probably go to Dak in the game.
That too.
And Dak's not going to be faulted for anything if the game's already gone south.
Yeah.
Or you have the perfect platform to reintroduce Dak the following week.
Yeah.
You hold all the cards by going with Cooper Rush.
Man. Dallas holds all the cards. Dak holds none. So you have to see how that goes.
He'll just keep bum rushing press conferences. Talking about how explosive that offense is.
Another thing, too,
what if
man.
they do that? Like they start Dak and they have like a fucking 7-point performance on offense.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Or string together 3 field goals.
Another thing that we actually started to see last year, I mean, Tony Pollard looks much more explosive than Ezekiel. I mean, it's just game after game. You can just see it. I mean, I don't know what the numbers say. I don't know what the yards per carry say or anything like that. You can just see Tony is more productive than Ezekiel. And it's been like that for a while now, a year or two.
Yeah. Most people have felt that. Yeah. It's another thing of why you don't pay backs.
Yeah.
You don't give backs big money.
Yeah.
And I I don't know what's going on with Zeke. I mean, like he's, he when he kind of first became a star, he had a couple public missteps. He's a guy that he's a bit of a bigger guy, and I suspect he's not at his optimal weight.
Anyhow,
I'm not saying he's looking super fat, but I think it's a funky balance. You get a little older, you maybe carry a little bit more weight, you lose that explosiveness.
He probably hit that running back wall, man.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is quietly hitting it.
Yeah.
He's still been somewhat productive, but he's not Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, historically though, Derrick Henry is an oddity.
Slow starter.
He slow starts the season, and then you get later in the year, and suddenly, I mean, there's been several seasons among his better years where up to this point in the year, I mean, I'm not saying he was forgotten, but he's not the first back anybody's talking about.
Right.
And then you get to like week 14, and he runs through the Jags for 205 yards and a couple touchdowns, and you're like, there's Derrick Henry again. So until we get to December and January with him, 22 carries for 43 yards.
Right now, it's Nick Chubb's league right now. He's the best running back hands down. Yeah, running back wise.
But it's not a running backs league anymore.
Oh, it hasn't been for
for a while. I mean, it's like you just don't you don't see it, you don't feel it. They're just spare parts, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Saquon's actually been very good.
If you like hierarchy as far as what position you would want before running back.
All.
Let's go, huh?
All. I grew up like infatuated with the running back position.
Yeah.
When I was like 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, like I played Pop Warner football, and I ended up playing, oddly enough, like defensive end and offensive guard. And I would always take such pride. I would occasionally get like the backup running back, and I'd occasionally get a garbage time carry. And I lived for that.
Yeah.
Like if I could have been any position in the world, I would have easily said running back. Forget about quarterback. I want to run. Yeah. And it's just not what it is anymore.
No.
And you're basically a disposable asset that just gets used up in quick order. The game's not tailored to running a lot. There's very few like what I'd characterize as like stylistically impressive runners. That are just like beautiful to watch. Yeah, I still like if you give Dalvin Cook like a seam, he can be really, really joyful to watch. But there's not a lot of guys in the league, even productive guys. Like Josh Jacobs is, as tough as a $2 steak, but like there's no joy in watching him. He runs hard. He hits the line of scrimmage with pace. He fights for extra yards, but there's nothing. Like Barry Sanders, Eric Dickerson, like dudes were like. Even OJ, man, before the knife.
Gail Sayers.
Like,
it was some beautiful guys to watch. As far as their styles, their running styles. Yeah, for sure, and all different. I'm
struggling to to see even like Saquon with like the big quads and all. I mean, like he looks like a running machine. It doesn't look like fluid and smooth.
Yeah, and he's just on such a putrid offense. I can't watch a full game of Daniel Jones, but I do like to watch Saquon run though. Yeah, Saquon and Nick Chubb. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor. He's been struggling with injuries this year. He was supposed to be the number one guy. Right. That's another thing we'll talk about in fantasy. Now you just gotta pray you don't get the number one pick. Like every like consistent running back, like they struggle with injuries the entire year that you get them. You got to think about Christian McCaffrey the last 2 years, Jonathan Taylor this year.
Saquon, like when he was maybe a second or third year, like when I remember. Do you remember David Johnson? Like he had like a great year, and then it just kind of went to hell. I mean, that's why I haven't drafted a running back in the first round in probably 5 or 6 years.
Like even if you get the number one overall pick, you just gotta just screw it, man.
I'm drafting a quarterback.
Yeah.
Because whether I'm picking first or I'm picking 10th or 12th, I'm taking a quarterback because a good quarterback, it's just sheer volume of points. Yeah. Like a good quarterback's dropping in your league anywhere between 25 to 40 points. Yeah. Running backs, you just don't get that. I mean, you probably have to go back to like when LaDainian Tomlinson had his like 30 touchdown season. Yeah. He was probably close to the pace of a quarterback.
Yeah.
It's about points, man. Now I know the other argument is the disparity. If I get like this, one elite running back and every other running back's 40% worse than that, there's more.
You have an
the
advantage
quarterbacks are more tightly packed, and if I'm going Josh or Pat or whatever, the difference between them is not that great. So, but I just don't think that. I mean, like you said too, way too many times you have the featured running back goes down in week 2 or 3 and is a non-factor the whole year, and your roster has a huge gap in it.
The next thing I wanted to talk about and show was in the college football ranks here, and hold on one second.
Who is swag? Baby, 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 I am swag. Baby, who is swag? Baby, I am swag. Baby, we are swag. I wake up motivated. I wake up motivated. I wake up motivated. I wake up motivated. I'm not gonna make this long. Oh, I got time. I got time today. Sweat. Who is sweat? 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 Who is sweat?
Those guys are having too much fun out there, man. So Deion Sanders, of course, Jackson State, they come out in that game against Eddie Robinson's team. And, and Deion's coming pregame. He's walking through their side. He's, and all of that stuff. And after the game, they have that exchange.
Yeah.
The tough exchange where he's, they go in and Eddie says, hey, I'm all for dapping. That's cool and being professional, moving on. But I don't go in for the bro hug, hey, because you was doing too much extra stuff before the game. We're not cool right now. I was willing to dap you up just for the cameras and move on, and we could talk after the game. And then they go on even after that exchange, and what he's saying is, Eddie is saying, the head coach is saying for the other team, he's saying, hey, I thought that was disrespectful for Deion Sanders to do all of that pregame, kind of stand us up, and things like that. And I'm swag. He's not swag. He don't know the swag way. I am swag. So, if I have to, I'm paraphrasing. If I have to show you and tell you how to act and represent yourself here, I can do that because Eddie's, to that point alone, he's correct. He was drafted from a swag team to the NFL. He stayed there. He chose HBCU over other big colleges, and he was making a point that Deion chose Florida State actually over FAMU. I don't know if you knew that it was really close. It was between Florida State and FAMU for Deion Sanders to go to school to, and he chose Florida State to go to, and so he was doing all that, and Deion's press conference. He goes on to say, man, if I ain't swag, ain't nobody swag. What are you talking about, man? And he said, I wake up motivated and things like that. I don't need to walk through your side to be motivated. And what they did was, social media made a song out of it. And I guess they got a song and they got a copy of that song and played it at practice and was dancing to it. That has to have Eddie pissed the fuck. He's like,
well, yeah. There's a lot to this. There's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to it.
First of all, Eddie's, I get him not being happy to handshake. He ain't swag thing or I'm swag, that was horrible. That was a bad take.
I just think he didn't have anywhere else to go.
I know, but that was never going to end well.
Yeah,
and so it becomes exactly what it does.
It becomes this. If you don't say that, if you don't go that route, like none of this, it just dies there.
Right, exactly.
But because you felt like you needed to add on and tack on.
What's it? It's this weird, divisive, almost generational thing. Like the subtext of it is, he's calling him out, which automatically makes him seem like old school and antiquated. Clearly, Deion's move is to push all the HBCU football to a different place.
Yeah.
He's pushed to get more scouts in, evaluating, and potentially drafting SWAC players. He's recruited at a higher level than Jackson State ever has. So he's trying to carry the whole thing forward. So if you become the resistance point on that, you look like a Republican. That's not a way to go. And Deion's going to spoof you. Now, but the other take, there's a guy I follow on Facebook, friend of mine, James Coleman, out of Jacksonville, former FSU player. He had a take. I actually shared it with you.
Yeah.
But one of his takes is Deion, let's not be foolish. If when you were at FSU, if some other coach did that, it wouldn't have flown.
Right.
Like hands would have been thrown.
Like if you would have walked through that
If
side.
some other coach would have done that with the FSU dynasty teams, there would be hands thrown.
There would have been, yeah.
So don't act like you didn't. His thing is this: do what you're doing,
But don't
tell me you ain't doing what you're
Don't
doing.
act oblivious.
Yeah.
But Deion's point, he actually commented to that as well. Like why did you choose to do that? Because Eddie didn't like it. So what Deion said was those guys scheduled us for their homecoming game. And I'm not sure how like big schools do it, because homecoming in my mind is not big. Like Florida homecoming game, like the Gators, like I don't know who they play. I never know. But HBCU homecoming is like the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? That's like our thing.
Yeah.
Everybody comes back home from out of town. Everybody goes to the game. Everybody's there the entire weekend. You're supposed to schedule the sorriest team in the conference because everybody's coming out of town to see you guys win.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, that's universal.
So,
I mean,
so they
homecoming is always supposed to be kind of an automatic win game.
So they scheduled Jackson State and Deion for their homecoming game, and Deion says, "Well, you guys are just doing that for a money grab because you know that I'm here, I'm Deion, and this is Jackson.
Oh yeah.
You scheduled us for a money game." So what we're going to do is we're going to show up and show out and kick your teeth in. That's why, like Eddie was also mad that he didn't kneel on the late in the fourth there.
Oh,
like, they were
okay.
still playing offense.
Yeah. See, okay. So then that gets it. All right. So that's the next layer of this. It's competition.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you try to schedule a win on homecoming.
Yeah.
So if you schedule Jackson State in their present
the best
form,
team in the
you. Again, if I'm Deion doing the same thing, I'm saying these motherfuckers invited us to homecoming.
Yes.
We're going to make this homecoming.
We're
gonna fuck them on the field and we're going to fuck all their bitches afterwards. Leave no bitch unfucked.
I could definitely see him saying that in the locker room. Don't y'all leave without everybody has at least one.
and then the whole thing, the whole thing with take a knee or stop pass, like that.
Yeah.
Never say that.
Yeah.
There's never been a coach in the history of football that has made some comment about, I didn't think that was cool to, throw that pass or not take a knee there. That's ever looked good.
No.
But here's the bigger issue, and I will give Deion a lot of respect because I do think his efforts to kind of bring attention to HBCU football have been from the right place. But the reality is this: they're building a monster that the SWAC can't contain.
Yeah.
And most of these games have been uncompetitive, and that bridge is just going to get further and further wide. Yeah. And so there's a couple of problems with that. Either if Deion stays there and continues to build this thing, they need to schedule minimal conference games and then go big game hunting.
Yeah.
And try and get some FBS schools to schedule them and play them, and then just go that way. But the other thing, and I think that this, every power conference job that comes up, Deion's name is now in the mix. And I think if he continues to be in this situation where there's just a lot of pettiness going on,
Right.
I think that'll push him to a PWI.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tricky because I don't know what Deion is really, what his long game is, right? I would assume he's going to stay at least till his sons graduate.
But with the transfer rules,
They could transfer.
they go
with
anywhere they
him.
want.
So
They could travel with
It
him.
could be a package deal.
100%. And here's why. And again, I don't know. I'm speculating. But, I think he goes to Jackson State. He's recruited at a high level. He's coached well enough. He's building this monster. Again, he was coaching high school football.
Yeah.
And the big question was always like, does he really want to coach or can he really coach at this level? He's showing he can. And I think he's going to start looking at it again. Yeah, if I got the right guys, I could go play Alabama. I can play Georgia, and like whatever. I can coach. I can recruit. And maybe Jackson State's essentially holding me back from that. And what I'm saying is, and part of that dynamic will be kind of the pettiness and the rigmarole that they give him in the conference and stuff like that. Are they going to just a lot of petties every week?
If it's more Eddie.
Eddie stuff. Is there going to be again, will they give him the latitude to, again, I don't know how many conference games he's obligated to play, but will they give him the scheduling latitude to go schedule some other teams, like big five Power 5 conferences?
No,
or not?
1,000%. The issue won't be from that side, from the SWAC side, from Jackson State side. It's going to be, will the Alabamas, will the Floridas,
will they want to?
Missouris,
But I think
I
think it can come from both sides. I don't think it's there yet, but they may be in a situation where it's like, okay, historically we play whatever, Grambling State on this weekend, but no, I can go get Ohio State this weekend, and he wants to do that and move the schedule, and they act like, oh, we can't move the schedule. So we always play this. That's small-minded thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's there. I don't know, but I'm just saying, if that becomes something, that'll be another factor that he'll just be like, dude, I'm trying to be up here, and this conference doesn't want to be there.
I think Deion has a real opportunity, and I like I said, I'm not sure. I didn't follow him, back in my day, so I don't know his type of line of thinking. But he has a huge opportunity to where he can bring HBCUs back up to a level of competitive football across the land, because everybody knows, back in the day, all the top athletes went to HBCUs. So if they get to a point where Jackson State can competitively play against Ohio States and whatever, University of Miami's and things like that, it doesn't have to be the top of the top like Alabama and fucking University of Georgia, but I'm just saying, competitive football with top tier Division I, I think if he can do that, that's way bigger than him moving to an Ohio State and winning a national championship. It's a light years difference in what it'll do for him and for the culture and for HBCUs.
I agree with you, and that's what's most impressed me with his run as coach.
Yeah.
My concern, though, is that
No, I understand.
they've got to come with him.
Yeah.
It can't just be Jackson State here and the rest of the HBCUs here. There's got to be another couple teams that kind of, that go at least close enough so that he's not playing every conference game as 56-10.
Yeah.
Because that's going to kill the product.
I was going to name some of the scores. Just this year alone, one was Jackson State. They won 59-3 against a FAMU team that only lost 2 or 3 games last year in the conference. They beat Grambling State 66-24. They beat Mississippi Valley State 49-7. So yes, it's been some disparity for sure.
And this is literally year 2.5.
Yeah,
it's again,
and the best player's been out.
Yeah,
Travis is
that's what I'm saying. It's everything he's doing is right and impressive, and there's no reason to think, well, man, as much airtime as he's got. And here's a critical thing. Jackson State has been on social media literally every week of the football season.
Mm-hmm.
The games are so bad, they're not getting that much.
Yeah.
They're not, you're not sitting down and saying, oh, what's Jackson State up to? And even the highlights are kind of slim because they're just not competitive games. Yeah. And you're right, though. There's going to be a hurdle. what Power 5 school wants to play them, knowing they could lose?
Who wants to pay them and play them?
Yeah, but I think the other one that I think the way somebody might take that leap, but I think the other one, the more likely leap is you'll have the Labor Day game at neutral site, and it'll be Jackson State against somebody.
You know what I wanted to talk about last week, because I saw he was on a
Like Jackson State Ole Miss.
he was on a show, a podcast.
Lane
or
Kiffin might do
interview.
that.
He might. And he was saying how the HBCUs, when they're playing these Power 5 schools, they're getting considerably less money than the Appalachian States and the PWI small schools.
Yeah.
And it's not even close. It's like FAMU this year got paid, I think he said like $400,000 for that game against I forgot who they played. Was it Ohio State? Miami?
Well, yeah, and the ones that beat Miami a couple weeks ago, they got paid like 1.5.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that was his exact thing he was saying.
But
And-
Deion, like again, that's where Deion's going to make a difference.
But will that stifle him though? Will teams say like, well, we're not going to play you unless you take this $500,000? And Deion's like, well, I'm not taking $500,000, so we're not going to play Ole Miss or
it won't stifle Deion, but I don't think it'll change the rest of the HBCU situations. I think Deion is enough of a brand that he'll do it that way. Like he'll if he's talking to teams and they're trying to lowball him, he won't do it. He'll go to Chick-fil-A and say, hey, I want to play somebody in Atlanta Labor Day weekend. You find them. I don't care who it is. It could be Georgia. It could be, whatever. It could be Ole Miss. It could be whatever. I'm gonna be there. And you pay me what you pay,
Yeah.
because people will watch that.
Yeah.
Especially, the way he's going. I don't think it'll really handcuff him. I think it's not going to resolve the others until the others get good enough.
Yeah. But Jackson State in itself, they're at least a year away, theoretically 2 years away from really competing against Power 5 schools, even if it's just one or two of them on the schedule. They're not there as a total roster, and they're not, because what happens is they're just not deep enough. Even if the starters are somewhat comparably competitive enough, you don't have that second wave of D linemen and O linemen that can come in and stand pat. So, but yeah, I just thought that was that was funny.
Yeah.
That's Deion all the way. Deion to come in there and mix stuff up. So we'll see where that goes. They do play my school, Bethune-Cookman, who is struggling this year. So
Another ass whooping.
that's basically what it's going to be. That's basically.
But look what they're doing already, though. Like that game's in the Jaguars team.
Yes, in the Jaguars.
Like
Stadium.
everyone's trying to make as much money off these as they can. And
Yeah,
there's a
and
leverage that
Bethune
he brings.
moved that.
Yeah.
He said, Deion said something about that too. He said, man, they just want money. They just want to grab money, man, and this and that. And, why we got to go to Jacksonville for this game. And
But, I mean, low-key, though, that will help build those other programs.
yeah.
If they can get more money in the budget, it's going to help them.
Yeah.
And theoretically, that's the thing.
And
now,
NIL's giving out, yeah.
and on that, I mean, I get he can be snarky about it, but I also think he's probably bright enough to realize at the end of the day, if this bolsters the budget, bolsters the budget of Bethune, or doing this other game bolsters the budget of FAMU or whatever, he'll be okay with it.
No, he will. He will. Well, moving over to basketball here, man. Once again, you guys are on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. Of course, the world, the NBA world went into a frenzy over the Draymond Green incident where he got into an altercation with Jordan Poole, man, and almost knocked him clean out. And today, the Warriors announced that Green will only be fined. He won't be suspended. Did that surprise you?
No, not at all. I knew he wasn't going to miss any time from this at all. I just they're at the end of the day they're about winning, and they put the process. Now they said Jordan Poole was consulted in the decision, which I don't doubt, but that's not a zero, thing. I mean, there's leverage. Steph wants to win. Clay's gonna win.
Yeah, but
you're gonna go. What I'm saying is, Jordan Poole was probably, although consulted, was well aware of which direction the wind was blowing on that.
What you mean?
that there was no desire to suspend him long term.
But it's an 82 game season. I mean,
what did you want?
You suspend the guy for a couple games. He got suspended. What was that? 2 to 3 games for calling Kevin Durant a bitch or whatever he called him. Like, he didn't touch him. He just called him a name, and they suspended him for that.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I mean?
That was KD, though.
And
It was.
But he actually laid hands on a guy.
Yeah.
They're about to pay Jordan. They're going to pay Poole some money.
Yeah,
now.
no, they will.
Yeah,
But
decent
okay,
amount.
but I mean, I'm just fine with it. You know, again, at the end of the day, like, you got to just move on. It's team sports. Fights happen. I mean, Jordan punched Steve Kerr, so Steve Kerr knows all about these situations. But what I want to like focus on, like, kind of what happened. Because number one, like, I've read a couple articles about the stuff that Jordan Poole was saying to Draymond leading up to this, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, high-level disrespectful, like, shit. Like, why are you saying this to a teammate?
Yeah.
Like, again, it was cutting stuff. It's like you're provoking a guy. And then you watch the video. Draymond gets up in his space. Poole pushes him. And Poole, like, puts his arms back down.
He's
like, how stupid is that?
It's very stupid.
Like, it just made no sense. Like, he just put his arms down, didn't think that anything else was going to happen, which just, again, if you've been riding a guy, and Draymond does not do emotions well.
Yeah.
Like, if you've been around this guy, I'm sure everyone in that gym could see the buildup. And the other shocking thing is, nobody moves a muscle when he walks over here.
Nobody.
Like, not one player on the court is like, oh, shit's about to go down. Like, I don't understand that for the life of me.
Even after he punches him, look at the assistant coach that walks over.
Yeah.
You see this guy, so only one guy is following Draymond when he comes on, the assistant coach or a trainer.
Yeah.
But watch, there goes Draymond right here.
Yeah.
And watch how he, damn, I rewinded it too far. But he's going to start walking. He's going to start walking. Now watch the guy in the gray shirt. He's following them.
Yeah.
He's following them. Watch this. He doesn't grab anybody.
Yeah.
He puts like a fake arm out. But
You know what? I just thought about this, honestly, watching the players' reaction.
Yeah.
I honestly feel that like, the articles that I read about what Jordan was saying are probably accurate.
Yeah.
And these guys on the court that you see in this video reach the conclusion,
whatever he got,
shit's got to
him.
happen.
Yeah, whatever.
No, I ain't even saying. I'm not even saying point a finger at Poole. It's like, these two idiots have been on each other. They just need to fight. And
Let
get
them
it done
hash
with.
it out. Yeah.
And because nobody moves, none of the players. You got. I mean, you're right. That assistant coach, whatever, does the fake hand thing, and then even now, there's
Look
no
at the
players.
This guy hasn't moved.
Yeah.
That's what's his name? But he hasn't moved a muscle. Neither is two guys. Neither is two players.
That really, to me, I definitely feel very comfortable saying that shit had been building between those guys for a while.
Yeah.
To the extent that the rest of the players didn't give a damn.
Yeah.
They just felt like, hey, these guys just need to swing and get this out.
Yeah.
And now maybe we can move on.
I said it from the beginning, man. You just, like, I don't know where this is coming from on this national stage, whether it's, like I said, Chris Rock or the Jordan Poole or what these other guys you see in these videos, even the rapper guy that we showed a couple weeks ago when we had 10% on. It's like, when you see, if you're talking to a person or you're talking about a person, you know, and you guys are in an argument, if that person comes in your space, you have to be prepared to get
fight,
hit, man.
Yeah.
Like you've been talking the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's a difference. And also in this case, you also push them.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know.
I mean, my thing is, if a guy I could, like, the Will Smith thing, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. But what it makes sense is that why Chris Rock could be caught off guard. This guy's walking up on stage. You're in this huge public televised thing. You're like, I'm not 100% sure what he's doing. And he didn't close the space and talk it up. He just came and slapped. Like, if Draymond just walked in from the arc and the first thing he did was throw an overhand right, I could get where that catches you off guard. But when you nose up, and then push the guy up, you know it's fighting time.
Yeah, no, but both.
And when
think
you
both cases.
face up with anybody,
Yeah,
and you're talking, like you have to know.
you have to know.
It next thing is hands.
Yeah, it can.
And you got to be ready.
It can be, and if you're not
And that's
ready,
why. Like
and if
that,
you're not ready, you need to create more space. Walk back, walk away, whatever you need
Yeah.
to do. If you're not prepared or you don't want to be in that situation.
and that's my whole thing is the whole face-off thing. Is really it's like it's a non-fighting move.
Yeah,
You're nobody can throw punches or kicks from that space.
not
You
any
need,
that can.
you need distance
you need
to
space
do
to
that.
really.
So it's
do
like when somebody gets face to face like that, you're kind of like part of you doesn't want to fight
something. Yeah.
or bring harm, and you're kind of like, all right, I'm mad, whatever. Let's see where this goes. But by getting face to face, I've given myself time to react in a weird way.
Yeah.
But there's no distance for striking. But you're in this place where it's like, oh, we're nose to nose, we're talking shit. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to feel something that he's gonna swing or kick or something, and then I can react. But Poole went with the push, and then he basically forgot to react.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, like, come on, man. But yeah, I don't. I think the Warriors get through this. I don't think that this is going to be like a season-ending, turns the season on its head and
Right.
and just goes to hell from there. But I mean, it makes an interesting story.
It does. It does. The next basketball topic I wanted to talk about, you kind of mentioned it before we got on the show here about how the Victor train has been rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wembanyama, did I say that correctly?
Wembanyama.
Like I always say, you were the first person to tell me about him when he faced off against Chet Holmgren. What I want to ask you and just quickly talk about here, I'm my favorite team, Philadelphia 76ers. We tanked, and I fucking loved every second of it. All right. How many teams should actually tank for Victor? What teams today should be in their front office and say, you know what?
Oh, the actual team. I got to name the teams.
I'm going to go through. I'm going to go.
okay.
I'm going to name you the teams.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me, yeah, I'm going to close up shop for Victor this year.
Yeah, okay,
Before,
okay.
This is before the season starts.
Right.
I don't give a damn. All right. So we're going to go. We'll go east to west. Charlotte Hornets.
Yes.
All right.
I
Right
don't
now,
think they
before
have-
the season
I don't think they have
starts.
anything. I mean, you got Melo. He's already hurt.
He's already hurt.
And they don't really have a lot else. I mean, Miles Bridges is out of the mix. And
Yeah.
I don't see them being able to do anything.
Okay.
And the weird thing is, if you kind of like slow play Melo and kind of have him be hurt half the time, whatever, you do have the job there. They already kind of have it because he's already hurt, and you just kind of, oh, it's like his brother's not responding.
Washington
Yeah, why not?
with Bill and
Yeah.
Bill's new
Yeah.
ultra contract.
They have nothing going on there.
They have nothing. Orlando.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? I mean, again, the premise of the tank is you don't win titles without one and more likely 2 to 3 high all-star players.
Yeah.
But one genuine, unquestionable superstar, and then maybe certainly another all-star, maybe a third.
Yeah.
That you don't win without that. And the Magic don't have that. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
Might as well.
But you have to hold out your young guys, some of which have
Well-
already been out the last 3 to 4 years.
Some of those guys suck anyway. I mean, I would kind of like let
they
Paul-
have too many question marks. That's the thing. Like, we don't know if they suck or not because they just haven't played. They've been hurt. Like a lot of those young guys.
Well,
your Florida State
the
guy,
Florida State guy.
Fultz.
He showed flashes, but he's hurt again.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like I would let Paulo rock out and just see what you could do, but I don't think that's a winning.
That's not
team.
enough to
right.
yeah,
And
to
so the
win.
rest of these guys, there's too many question marks. Are they any good or not?
Yeah.
I would do it if I was
Okay.
them.
Miami Heat.
No.
No?
I don't think Miami is a favorite, but for them to tank it's against Heat culture, and they have too much talent to tank.
I disagree with that.
Really?
I don't think they have enough talent to do anything. Not
Too
for that-
much talent to tank, though.
No, they have Jimmy and Bam. That's about it.
Hero.
And even Bam. I'm not even a Bam guy. I'm not a Bam guy. Jimmy is not a regular season guy.
Yeah.
hero. I mean, you just gave him. He's overpriced. He's overvalued. You gave him a huge contract. He's going to be a six man. He's the highest paid six man in the history of sports.
Sports.
But Atlanta.
No.
Yeah, I'm no in Atlanta. I'm no in Atlanta. Milwaukee. I'm a no in Milwaukee.
Oh God, no. Yeah. We're going to go to every team.
Detroit.
No.
I'm going every team because it's Victor.
No, I get it.
I get it. But
I
they're saying
think
he's a better prospect than LeBron James. You know what I mean?
I do think that's hyperbole for me.
Yeah.
We can address that, but I think Detroit with Ivy and Cunningham needs to figure out if they have that.
If they have,
They might have two legit all-stars, maybe a real star. I don't know, but they got to figure that out.
Yeah.
So I would say no.
Cleveland.
No,
No.
they made the move to win now.
Indiana.
They might as well.
Yeah, might as well.
They just have kind of a hodgepodge. I mean, from my understanding, almost everybody on that team is available for the right price.
Yeah.
So you might as well bottom out, trade those dudes for some picks or future
They
considerations.
said Victor being on cable television was the best thing that happened for the Lakers in probably in their history.
For the Lakers?
Because teams will see that teams that are kind of on the bringe, like on the
Oh yeah. Oh,
Indiana,
so it'll set up
Sacramento.
shit for steak trade. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. I didn't follow that.
Chicago Bulls. It's interesting.
That is they're tough.
Lonzo's hurt again.
Yeah.
DeMar.
But the rest of their core is like
DeMar and
DeMar's
Zach.
at an age where he needs to win or whatever.
Yeah.
Vooch is at an age. I mean, Zach LaVine's not old, but he's not young.
Right.
They just need to play and see what happens.
That's true. We'll say no to the Nets. We know that.
Yeah.
Toronto is interesting. Toronto is interesting. We don't believe in Toronto, but they're going to win some games.
They will.
They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
Well, the real thing is how good does Scotty Barnes get? Does he become
because
an
he has the
automatic
potential.
all-star guy, like a foundational piece? Siakam is very good.
He's very good.
Fred VanVleet is good for what he does.
I'm sold that Siakam could be a second best player on the championship team.
And a couple of those other guys like OG.
Yeah, OG's a nice piece.
I think they just play and hope that Scotty Barnes is what they need.
Yeah. Boston, no.
No.
New York, Knicks.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. They're just a mess.
And then the last team is the 76ers.
No.
It depends.
Well, I mean, I would say this. I mean, any one of the upper tier teams, if they suffered a catastrophic injury to a star,
Greek Freak, Embiid,
right? Because
Butler.
then you become the Spurs.
Yeah.
When Duncan went down the 1 year, and then they get
when Robinson went down.
Robinson,
Yeah.
and then they get Duncan, and now you're off and flying. Like any team that has a major guy going down. I mean, Atlanta, if Trae Young got hurt, why not? Let's do this.
Set up shop.
Yeah. So I'm presuming a certain measure of health.
No,
when I'm
you have
answering
to,
these
and
questions.
you have to do it that way. You have to do it that way. All right, Portland.
Yeah, why not? They did last year, basically.
Yeah. Just
and they didn't get rewarded.
Put my guy Simons out there with everybody else except for Dame, and it actually helped Simons.
Well, actually, it did. 100%. It allowed him to play free and showcase what he could do. And then I do think that the funny thing, either you shut Dame down or you move him at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Although I don't know you can move with that money they just agreed to pay him.
Nah, you can move Dame.
Yeah.
You can move Dame. Denver, no.
No.
Utah, they're
Yes,
doing that anyhow.
100%. Yeah.
OKC.
Yeah. Chet's already down. You come back with Chet and Victor.
Oh, that'd be
and
wild.
Gilgeous.
That'd be wild.
Oh, wow. That'd
Once
be
again,
team.
we're tanking for Victor right now. We're saying what teams should tank for Victor. Minnesota? Nah.
No, they can't. They can't. They went all in on the Twin Towers.
San Antonio. I think.
Yeah,
they are
100%.
doing it. They are doing
Yeah.
it. Memphis, no.
No, they're dogs, man. They got to go for this.
Dallas, no.
Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah. They've been tanking for years.
Yeah, I know, right? Pelicans, no.
No, this is a big year for the Pelicans.
Yeah, huge.
They
They have some pieces.
They got either Zion's healthy or they need to move on. Although they just signed him to a bunch of money.
Lakers, no. Clippers, no.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
it's intriguing. It would be really hard for them to tank.
Only because of CP.
Well, and also just because of they kind of have a win now team, and it's hard to tank with that.
They have a win now team that can't win now.
No, I agree with that. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
But like, there's nothing else to do with that team than swing.
It really isn't.
Like, it's just weird.
You're right. It really isn't. It really isn't. Golden State, no, of course, and then Sacramento.
Yeah.
Sacramento is another interesting team, though, but they should tank. They got a couple pieces.
What do they have right now?
So they got Fox. They got Davion Mitchell is like a he's like an OG and an OB piece.
Yeah.
He's a solid player.
Yeah.
You got you just got Malik Monk from the Lakers over there. You got Keegan Murray.
I like him.
Rookie.
Yeah,
we like him.
Yeah.
And that's about it for like.
Did they still have Bagley?
Star potential.
They have Sabonis, don't they?
They got Sabonis. Yeah, they do have Sabonis.
Yeah.
Right? That's an all-star, former all-star.
Yeah.
They got Sabonis.
Yeah, that's a funky one. I mean, if things start slow, you might as well tank.
And that's it, man.
Yeah.
I would like that team with Victor instead of Sabonis. Maybe like, because you could move Sabonis for like, whatever.
Yeah.
Another forward.
No, if you could, yeah. Yeah, I mean, really, Fox and Murray look like a promising backcourt.
That's what I'm saying. Fox, Murray.
And then if you had Victor with that'd be something else. I mean, at that point, then you're just like getting fill-in pieces around it.
Yeah.
Get a certain amount of shooting, certain amount of like
3D guys.
tough guy, defenders and so forth, and you're onto something.
But what were you going to say about Victor versus LeBron as far as best prospect?
Yeah, okay, so I like Victor a lot. I've been on him early, but I do think when you come to the U.S., play 2 games, and people are saying that, we're just getting a little bit ahead of things, And there's a very real question, and he does look like a mobile, fluid, gigantic guy, but the overall health record of people over 7 feet, like playing consistently over a long span of time, is really bad. And so, LeBron, even as a young guy, was built, essentially like a tank. Like he appeared to be physically close to what he is. Like he's low injury, a heavy minute year after year guy for basically almost 19 or 20 years now.
Right.
Like that, that's not the type of build that Victor has.
Yeah, so that's a little tricky there.
Yeah. That's why I wouldn't say, and that like durability is such a huge quality, and it's often underrated. And he just does not give the vibes that he's going to approach, what LeBron's done from a durability standpoint.
So we got Big Mang saying, please don't mention Miami, please. So I think Miami should. I really do, because Miami is they're in a tough situation, man. Because Kyle Lowry was extremely overpaid last year. The version you're going to get this year is going to be severely worse. And so you got him. Then you got Jimmy, who, just who knows what type of injuries are going to pop up over the regular season. And then they're a team, right, where they're in the luxury tax, and they don't have any great pieces. That's not a Golden State Warriors, Philadelphia 76ers, Brooklyn Nets team.
Yeah, what they're paying for that
why
team.
Are they in the luxury tax with that roster?
Yeah, they're a very fringe contender, and I mean, I don't know.
I would shut the shop down if I'm Pat.
I wouldn't. And it's again, you also have to factor in that's not who he is.
No.
And it's not who Jimmy is. And and again, we kind of are shitting on that Heat roster, and I'm not saying it's perfect, it's flawed, but in the bubble they reached the finals, and last year they're a 3-point shot away from reaching the finals.
Yes, but there's a ceiling on that. There's a hard concrete ceiling.
And here I'm always the win a championship or bust. And here you are, trying to cast the Heat Eastern Conference finalist into the tank bin.
And then Ryan is asking which team won the offseason, according to us.
Which one? Who won the offseason?
Yeah, I like what a few teams did. I like what Atlanta did, bringing Murray in. And people say, okay, they spent a lot of draft picks. If Atlanta wins games, those are going to be 29th, 30th, first round picks. Those guys come and go to a certain degree.
I think Cleveland is an off-season winner.
Cleveland.
I do think in a weird way the Warriors are. They basically kept the Peyton was the only loss, and they fill in with Dante DiVincenzo or whatever the hell his name is, who's not bad, and you get what James Wiseman appears healthy and like he's going to be a player, which he hasn't been in the past. So you kind of almost add there. And you didn't lose Poole. You largely kept that roster intact. So I mean that was a win of sorts. Before the coaching fiasco, I would have put Boston in the category.
With
Brogdon and Gallinari or whatever.
But he got hurt.
So I mean,
but still,
at one point, hey, we're in the finals. Yeah. We keep our entire core and we add two nice pieces. Yeah, you're winning. But then one of them gets hurt, and then your coach starts banging everybody. And
I love what my 76ers did. I really do.
I was going to mention the 76ers to get a couple of the pieces they did, and then, I mean, it appears like you've got an engaged James Harden.
Yeah.
And that's a different animal than we've had for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it is.
And then we can't ignore Cleveland. I think they did well.
I thought they did awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing what it.
So it's 5 or 6 teams I would say did a really nice job overall. The other one you don't really. I mean, from where it appeared at different points in the summer, Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah,
I mean they were close to being in the tank bin, and who knows what the future holds if KD's going to be traded and Kyrie's not going to be there and whatever. But none of that happened. Ben Simmons is participating in basketball activities, whatever that entails, and you still have those two guys, and you're going to have a healthy
Harris.
Joe Harris, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's probably 7 or 8 teams where I think they all things considered, they had a pretty good offseason.
No, for sure. Hold on really quick. Let's get to our next sponsor here. Royal13thebrand.com. Use promo code BubbaPink, and you can be fly going into the fall. I actually took my Royal 13 the brand shorts down to Miami. They were a big hit.
Were they?
Yeah, man. So.
What were some of the more engaging comments you got?
I just love them. It was the ones with the roses. They were. They call it. They got
the ones you should have went to the A's final.
The Hoochie Daddy shorts. And
are they a really short cut there?
They're shortcut, man. They're shortcut. But I've been working on my legs. And
if you're hung enough, the helmet will pop out.
Royal13thebrand.com, promo code BubbaPink, get your discount.
The way you ignored that was revealing.
Well, I won't be buying my Uncle Lilo up there. I'll tell you that much. Lil Boosie had an interesting comment that on the. It's like in the dating realm. I'm going to play it here. Well, one second here.
Social media fucked up the whole everything. It made more avenues for money now.
Right. For sure.
But it fucked up everything. Marriages. Everything.
Right.
At first, your bitch used to just see the niggas at work, you, and that's it. And come home. That's all she had to look at. Now she got about 30,000 niggas to look at. You heard me? For when you don't act right. And she hypnotized by all the other the bitches getting shit on Instagram that she ain't getting. So all that time you didn't put in but no money, it fucked up everything. It fucked up you too. All you had to look at was your side bitches, your bitches at work, your bitch at home, and come back. That's all we had. That's all. A couple side bitches from the other side of town. Now you hypnotized.
Yeah.
You look at your bitch and you see 1,000 bitches look better.
I think best too.
And you looking way better than your bitch. You look over at your bitch, you like, it fucked up. It made us hoes, bro. It made us hoes.
No, I did.
It made your bitch a hoe. It made the nigga a hoe.
All I can think about is like you go to your. I have the 833rd hottest bitch in town.
It was so funny, but it has.
what
some
is he
truth.
talking about?
It
though?
has some truth to that.
Wait,
though.
what was he talking
So
about?
he's saying how social media, mainly Instagram,
just social media.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Instagram is the platform he was naming it, but Instagram has made people into whores, like made your girl into one and made you into one. As far as the guys, because of the sheer numbers of people that we see, it's a lot of truth to that. Because I see, like, if I see the women that are on IG, a lot of them they're using. Of course, they're using these filters, and if they're using filters and makeup, it's just a completely different person. But that's what we see, and then so you have your girl who you're with every day, all day, but you see all of these women on Instagram that's theoretically not living too far from you. It's like, damn, I want this. I want
those
this one.
those chicks are always in exotic islands and stuff like that, and
And
sitting
then,
on
damn,
yachts.
I want that one, but I got stuck with this one, and it's like, and that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's funny because it has some truth to it.
No, me and my cousin, like years ago, we kind of had that take on both social media and dating apps in general.
Yeah.
Because like if you go back to a period of time before like the dating app and social media, like he's right. Like, and I guess like his comment almost feels weird in the sense of we've already been in this place for years.
Yeah.
Like, it's not new.
It's not new.
But I don't even know what year you'd have to go back to. Maybe like 2004.
Yeah.
But like, like again, without all that access to like social media, dating apps and whatever, like where do you meet people? Like, and how do you meet them? And then your world is very small. Like, whether you're in school or you're at your job and you go to this gym and you're in that that restaurant and like your neighborhood, like those were desperate times, man. Like seriously, like how do you connect with people like that?
Yeah.
And you're left to just make like the random like dry approach, like
Because when I was in school, MySpace came around a little late in the game. But when I was in school, you just have the girls in your school. Like nowadays, the boys can, like if they're at Edgewater, they can easily access the girls at Winter Park, at Jones, at Evans, at Apopka, like just from social media. Like we didn't have that. We were only dating the girls that's in that fucking school. Like we just had to hope that attractive people got together and had sex and had children in our radius because that was it.
Your school history, yeah. No, like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and even like. I mean, take that a step further. Like you go to college, which is phenomenal because you're in this community with everybody's in your demographic.
Yeah.
But then if you're somebody like you get out of college, no attachments, no entanglements, and you're pre-social media, pre-dating app, like what you have like an apartment, you go to a job, like it's hard. Yeah. Comparison to college, because college it was like having a whole dating app right there.
It was.
Everybody was there. You're thousands of students all in the same demographic.
Exactly.
But when you get beyond school, if it's beyond high school, beyond college,
tough sledding.
Now you're like, okay, pre-social media or dating app. Well, how do you meet people? Like it's crazy.
No, it is. It is. But I don't know which one is better. Like because okay, so you want to be able to have more options. More options is better, but is that deterring our brains? Is that deterring our brain? I think it's fucking with mine.
It's deterred Ludwig's brain. We know that.
and I think it's messing with. I think it is messing with my brain. So I don't know, but I don't know if I want to go back to a pre-social media era.
You wouldn't want to,
because I'm in Lake Mary area, and that is the worst LA Fitness. I've never seen a lack of women in
LA Fitness.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's tough sledding over there.
No, I mean, compound that. You work largely from home.
Yeah,
it's
I shop at Winn-Dixie. I've been told all the beautiful women shop at Publix, so I have to change shit up. They shop at Publix, and there was another one the girl told me.
Winn-Dixie, I don't think there's a lot of traction there.
It's not.
Yeah.
But I didn't, I don't know. I mean, people don't want to shop on bargains. I mean, it's not fucking, it's not the Dollar Tree. They have quality stuff at Winn-Dixie. Shout out to Winn-Dixie, man. Give us a damn... give us a shout out or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think though that it's I don't think it's a bad thing. You just have to accept the time you live in. I think you're never going to be a happy person if you're wishing you were in some other time. You know, and it's like you once you know what this is, you can't go backwards.
I know.
Like it, you know, like like you said, like suddenly you don't have access to these people, you don't have connections with these people, and accessibility. And so what's good with that? Like it would be horrible. Be like, I mean, just think of it. Forget it. Just say go back to a time without cell phones. Like literally, you're ringing a house phone to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
You can't shoot them a text message.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous.
It's super ridiculous.
Like you literally have, I mean, like when I was in like elementary school, like you'd ride your bike to a friend's house and see if they were outside at their house. And okay, we can hang out. But if not, you just had a long ride for nothing. I mean, that was it. Like you'd literally just go out and ride around and hope to see, you know, some people to hang out with.
Exactly.
In your limited neighborhood, you know.
That's how it was. No, that's how it was too when I was coming.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're outside, they're not sitting there at the house phone picking up saying, "Hey, man, I'm chilling at the house." No, it was ridiculous, man. Those were horrible times. Man, we don't want to go back to that.
No,
but I mean, the buffet of attention is. I mean, it does create some unique things. It does create this, you know, some people that are just. Like almost creatures of social media where that's the sole source of their self-esteem and identity. That's not healthy. That's not good. And those people will ultimately be miserable. You know, but and again, like, I mean, depending on what side of the dating dynamic you're on, if you're looking for prospects, there's no better time to be alive. But if you're in a situation like he's talking about and you're like, well, yeah, you might have a million options, but whoever you're trying to give a crap about has the same. You know, and that's just the other part of this that you have to deal with.
Some people, they agree, they get into a relationship, a new relationship, and they agree to just delete social media together.
All of it entirely?
Yeah.
That's a little dramatic.
To limit distractions.
Yeah. I mean, I just use social media for so many other purposes that I can't fathom doing that.
I'll tell you what I do. And any girl that I'm seriously dating, I delete them from social media. So
you delete them.
Yeah, I delete them. So say if me and
so you don't get their passive aggressive.
Kiki is getting serious.
You don't get their passive aggressive post on your timeline.
It's not about that. It's
I hate when guys do this.
It's not about.
Wait,
their
who
post.
could that be to?
It's about them getting mad at my posts or my comments.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit on social media because it's just there for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
I'll say the wildest shit. Girls get under my comments or something like that and say, "Oh, what about this?" And I'll be like, "Marry me tomorrow" or some shit. And girls that I'm dating, they just be like, "Oh, you want to marry that bitch?" I'm like, "Come on, man! Like, you think I'm gonna marry this girl? I mean, seriously, you know what I'm saying?" And you know,
well, that's how we started talking after. After I commented on one of your absurd posts.
I know, right? But that's just the thing. So I delete them.
So do you get a lot of pushback when you do that though?
So initially a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
And you know what actually gave me that idea was I know you're gonna say my ex. You know, you got 1,000 exes, but no. One of my earlier exes, she deleted me and she told me, she's like, "Man, I just couldn't take your post. I know you're joking half the time, but this and that, I just could take your post." And then from there, it always stuck in my mind that she did that. So going forward, I say, yeah, that's just the way to go. Then every girl that I seriously date in a relationship or just dating, I'm just going to take them off social media. That way I'm not getting questioned or grilled about my post.
Right.
Because they'll go deeper. Like, they'll go looking at what pictures you're liking. And, oh, you like this girl picture. And you commented that heart eyes under this. You know.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. Yeah.
So I just do that.
No, there's something to be said for that. I don't know. It's just impractical to delete all of it.
Yeah.
It's just like, heck, you know. That's how I get half my news. More than half, like 90%. You know.
Oh man, WTV Channel 9 is watching this. Like, hey, we're still around, you know.
Who gives a damn? I don't watch the news, man.
It's been a long time.
The last time I watched the news was like during the storm before my power went out, and I like literally got up the Thursday morning and I just wanted to find, okay, where is the storm right now?
Yeah.
Because at that point I still had power, and I was just, okay, is it still coming? Is it past me? Has it changed course? and that was it. Like I have no use for.
Can you see
local
the news going away? Like newspapers and Blockbuster. Like what purpose? What is the main purpose for the news? I wonder what is the peak of their like.
Well, the problem is it's ratings.
You think a lot of people still watch it?
Well, whether a lot of people watch it or not, it's driven by ratings, and that's why the news itself has become so polarizing. In that you'll have, Fox News is going to report an event this way, and then CNN's going to report the same event completely differently because it's driven by ratings. And then, as viewers, you're almost kind of forced to go in one camp or the other, or the third alternative is I'm going to ignore both of them because it's just nonsense.
But I'm talking more so local news.
The local news?
Not CSN and MSN. I'm talking about, mostly local. Like, why are they still around? I wonder what is the main purpose? Because I don't know people who watch the news, really.
Yeah. No, I can't say that I do, but I mean, I guess like where else would you get local stories? Because even the reality is like a lot of time when you get like a local story, even when you're getting it on your social media feed, it's because it's like West News is reporting, somebody bought a gun to Winter Park High School.
Yeah.
And I remember, I mean, honestly, when my kids were in high school, there was like a report of a gun or a bomb or something, and one of the people I work with, they had their social media up. They saw, Winter Springs, whatever, and they're like, hey, don't your kids go there? I was like, yeah, and then whatever. And then you click and you link and read it. So, I mean, I guess there's a part of that. And certainly, like, during the storm, there's a certain utility to,
there's.
That. Like
sometimes I high school football, if there's a guy, like Edgewater has a dominant running back right now.
Yeah, Cedric Baxter going to the Longhorns with our guy Peyton.
Yeah, every other week or so, I will try to catch local news on a Friday night to see if I can
we see the high school scores and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure.
So I guess there's a little.
It's a niche. I mean, because again, it's local. Not everybody's gonna
right.
watch it or care, but there's nobody else really reporting on it.
No. Just a couple of other things here. The Team USA doc, right? So it came and went. We previewed it before it came out because we had the trailer, and now the whole thing is out. Here's my thing. It's catching a lot of flack,
of which I was completely unaware.
The thing about it is, it's a great story. It's not the story. It's the doc. We're in an age of awesome fucking documentaries, the way they're created, the way they're made. This was badly put together. Like, whoever the director is, whoever put this together, they just did a terrible job.
It's LeBron and Wade's project.
Huh?
It's LeBron and Wade's project.
Well, it doesn't surprise me.
Well, it was. Okay. I watched it Friday. I enjoyed watching it. I didn't... at the end of it, I wasn't thinking, God, they really screwed that up. That wasn't my impression.
It's not something to screw up.
The one thing that I guess sort of surprised me, I did not expect it to be 85, 90 minutes were done.
Yeah.
I was expecting there to be, and again, it's a little bit the format we have, maybe 2, 3, 4 like episodes to tell the story.
Yeah.
And so maybe... to the extent that there was a little something different with what a lot of we've seen,
it was a lot more
that.
They could have done with that, man. I would have liked to see
maybe again a longer project.
Then you can add that, and that was to their discretion. So
and what would you like to have? Like, what else was there that you really wanted more of?
So in the beginning, I wanted to see more. I want to see more of the team that lost, and because I wanted really for them to set the scene of how USA basketball was before the Redeem team. Like that team with Iverson and them, maybe get a couple interviews with those guys, because like, why did those guys lose? Break down that team. Why did we lose to these other countries prior to the Redeem team? I thought
they kind of covered that though.
Was it they tapped it?
But the other,
and they didn't have any interviews from those guys. Like I wanted to see
that's where it being a LeBron and Wade thing. That's where it was hurt.
Yeah.
Because those guys and Melo, they were
the highlight throughout the entire thing.
Because they made it, but particularly that 2004, they were the ones that commented on what went down there.
Yeah.
And their narrative was, we were these young guys. They invited us to the team late when dudes dropped out, and we didn't really know what we were getting into. But at the end of the day, we also didn't end up playing all that much, and we were bitter about that.
And you couldn't get a word from KD. Like, not a word from KD.
KD went on that team,
huh?
The 2004.
No. The
The Kobe team. Yeah.
He
You're
was
right.
on there.
Yeah,
Not a word from him.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just, I just think it was just a lot of different small things that that these other guys who are creating these other documentaries, they would have definitely hit. And it was a lot of from a fucking word, man, whatever. But cinema, when you're looking at it, cinematic. When you're looking at it, like it just didn't look like a interesting full doc. The story was interesting, and we loved the Kobe parts and things like that. I thought that Carmelo looked bad in this, like as far as and I'm not counting that the doc is bad because Carmelo bad. This is an extra point I'm bringing in. I thought that we know about Carmelo, but there's a lot of fans of Carmelo stans out there.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at this doc, number one, you got the time where everybody's coming in from the club and the Kobe is going to the gym, and then the next day is LeBron, Kobe, and Wade in the gym, and then eventually everybody's there, and then Carmelo comes on there. Well, I'm still not going. 4:30 is fucking too early for me.
That's his career.
Everybody on the team is going to the gym.
That did not make him look bad. That revealed what he was.
It revealed what
no,
he
and
was.
I've always said, and that's one of the reasons I've never been a big Melo guy.
Yeah.
Because again, terrific offensive player, never for my money ever put himself in elite physical condition where he could have a dominating two-way season and really carry a team.
Yeah.
It just wasn't what's in him, and I thought that was very much on brand and revealing.
Yeah.
And I took it like that. Yeah, no wonder why you have 0 rings. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wanted to see more from when they did the Ginobili thing. That team was such a thorn in USA's side, and there was a great team. Why you couldn't get Ginobili more on
to talk more about it? Yeah. True.
And you had Gasol a little bit, but Gasol was only there to talk about the push. You know?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. They just left a lot to be desired, man. Like you said,
it could have been longer.
More episodes, get more into it because there's a lot of interesting factors there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. No, I get where you're going. It could have gone a little deeper, but I do think though that's one of those things where you know who's making it. And they ended up kind of, I mean, to be honest, they probably didn't have that much time to put into it, particularly LeBron. You know,
well, there's no rush.
But what I'm saying, they still they ultimately wanted to kind of tell their particular story. They clearly went out of their way to pay homage to Kobe, and that was kind of about it. Like really, I mean, if you boil it down,
yeah,
again, like you said,
thing.
they didn't really dig deep into the other 2004 guys, and so forth, and so that's kind of just the limited range of what it was.
They really didn't dive into that team. Like the team that won the goal, they dived into the original. They dived into more of the original 2004 team. The team that lost before they got Kobe. It was more on that
2006.
team. It was more on that 2016 than anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then after that, it just became a Kobe doc. And then that was it. It was a 2006 Kobe Bryant. End of show.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it could have been deeper, I guess.
That's really what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I guess I just sort of enjoyed it in the moment.
Yeah, because the story it was a good story. It's a good story. I mean,
and I mean, the other part of it is I kind of remember a lot. I remember I watched the 2006 game against Greece when they lost.
Yeah.
And I was furious because they were getting killed with the pick and roll. And Coach K is so stubborn. He wouldn't play zone.
Yeah.
Even for a couple of possessions. And I remember I was livid that day. And it was in Asia. So I was watching the game at some ungodly hour. I think like maybe 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. And you lose that and you're just fucking pissed all day. Just was horrible.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, okay, I get what you're saying. It could have dug deeper, and again, yeah, that's true.
I dug deeper into the Embiid thing, so he has a choice.
Yes,
he hasn't made it yet. So he can play for France or for USA.
So
he
I
play for either one.
thought I saw something that said he was going to commit to play for France now.
That's originally what I thought, what I saw. But to any event, he hasn't. He hasn't committed anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But USA is making a strong push recruiting him.
Which they should.
Yeah.
The reality is this, man. Like, he's weirdly not a great fit for France.
With him and Rudy, I won't want to see
Victor.
Yeah, and Victor.
You have 3 7'1" or 2 or 4.
We bring Rudy ass off the bench.
Yeah,
I want to see him in France. I want to see him with France.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. I want to see him in France and just bring Rudy off the bench.
I just think roster fitting. I mean, ironically, he's a better fit for the USA.
Put Victor at the 4
because he's hand down the premier big man.
No, they talk too much shit about Jokic.
Jokic doesn't play for the USA.
I know that, but still.
No, I'm saying on the U.S. roster.
I don't care about U.S. roster. they over here in the States, they want to give Jokic the MVP every year. They want to bullshit you, and all these U.S. reporters want to vote against you. Fuck them. Go play for France. Where I'm sure France will vote you for MVP. All right? Go over there where you want it and appreciate it. And kick USA's ass.
Where you're appreciated.
Yeah. They don't appreciate you here, man.
Okay.
And
But in France, he's appreciated.
He's going to be appreciated in France. They haven't won anything.
The French are fickle.
Huh?
The French are fickle.
Who isn't?
Yeah. You know, I mean, like, if they win, he's French. If they lose, he's a Cameroonian American. That's the way it goes in Europe. Yeah. So don't think that fickle doesn't cross the Atlantic.
They will need some guards though. I saw their guards. I was very unimpressed.
Fournier for his 30th year.
Fournier plays so well in that arena, in that league though.
In the FIBA basketball.
He plays like really well. There's a couple of those guys. I forgot how well watching the doc. I forgot how well Rudy
Fernandez was.
Like but that was him. He played so well in the FIBA style games, and then he gets over to the NBA, and it's just a huge disappointment.
It's
because it's a different game.
So much is the role in the game.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. Like
they did break the game down. I thought they could have did a little bit more, but at least they did that.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying, like your role in the team, like he had a complete green light for Spain.
Yeah.
Whenever he was in the USA, he never he was. Maybe looked at as a bench scorer. Like, it's just totally different.
There's another guy, and you asked about this guy when we were at the Edgewater gym, Mario Hazonia. He plays well in that FIBA. And you asked, I forgot who we were talking to. We were talking to somebody who plays overseas. And you were asking him, like, about Mario and why.
Yeah.
He was just saying how when Mario was with Orlando, it was the role on the team.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, NBA rosters, like, it's very simple. Like, you have, your best 2 guys. I mean, Draymond said it. Like, there's 2 motherfuckers on every team that does whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
The rest of us, we need a role. And that's what it is. And, like, dudes that, like, I mean, I was thinking, I look at Austin Rivers as a guy. Like, he went through high school and went to Duke as essentially Kobe Light.
Yeah.
He took whatever shot he wanted. He was the alpha dog and whatever. And then he got to the league, and he was on a bad New Orleans team with Anthony Davis, who was, the top pick and the feature guy, and he never found a role.
No, they wanted Austin to fit into this 3-and-D guard role, and he just wasn't that.
Because why? Because everything up to that point, he was a high volume, do what you want scorer.
And then after 5 or 6 years, then he transitioned into this, reserve, like 6-man, 7-man come in. Then you get a lot of shots and things like that. And he had some moments in the playoffs and things but he hasn't been able to really hone that in and become a Jamal Crawford or whatnot, because it's only that stretch. You only have a 5-6 minute stretch to really make a difference when you come off the bench, and if not, the coach is going to pull you right back out. And you go over 2, over 3. It's just not his night.
And the problem with Austin is, again, he was emphasized high volume scorer.
Yeah.
He wasn't hyper efficient scorer.
No.
And that's why he was never, for me, able to enter into the elite offensive 6 men.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, to this day, he's still like, at this point in his career, he's sort of like come to realizations that just being solid defensively and doing enough on offense, that's his ticket to be in the league.
And he's gotten so much better on defense. He knows, like, at some point in his career, it's like, I don't know, if somebody told him or whatever. I'm sure coaches told him, and he put that effort in on the defensive end. And
Well,
like you said,
it
that's
comes
what kept
down
him
to
in.
that role thing. It's like, what do you do? Why are you on the roster? And it's like, I think at some point, like, I'm sure it was in his ear, this, that, and the other thing, but at some point, you kind of come to it's like when the lesson is there, when the pupil appears when the teacher appears when the pupil's ready. And it's like when you finally are ready to say, okay, I want to stay in this league. I need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Now I can do that. You know,
Exactly.
and again, I think like Austin, you look at some of his better playoff offensive performances, it's usually been when his team has been a little bit shorthanded and he's able to revert to that alpha dog scoring role.
Yeah.
And I've always felt that, like, he fears no moment.
Yeah.
You know, to his credit, he fears no moment. And so when that role is given to him, he's usually been able to rise to it and not play badly on it. But again, you know, a lot of the teams, like when he was in Houston, he had a decent run. But it was also when you watched him play, he's not like a true catch and shoot 3-point shooter. No. And the way that team operated with James and CP,
you had to be.
That's what you had to be.
And
if you were anything else, it just wasn't a great fit.
Yeah.
And so you go into games, and I'm sure he was probably on the floor going, all right, you win. What do I get? When I get to get my shot? You know, I mean, and it's a horrible comparison, but it's valid. Is sometimes when you and I played Edgewater, depending on who's on the team, like we're just trying to figure out, okay, how do we fit in? You know, okay, I can spread the floor. I got to be ready to hit this because they're not guarding me or whatever. You know, we don't go there knowing, oh, yeah, I'm just going to have the ball in my hands a ton and have chances to do this or that. It's just that's not the reality we live in.
Right, but we're also not All-Americans. So I can see how, like these All-Americans that get on these NBA rosters, former All-Americans, and they have to fit into a role, and it just doesn't. It's just not them, and they struggle with that.
That's the entire difference in the NBA.
Yeah.
There's your star level guys that are the 2 guys per team that do whatever the fuck they want. The rest of the guys are guys that figure out what the heck do I do to stay in the league. And there's a huge chunk of guys that don't figure it out and end up out of the league.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not pure talent.
Yeah.
The guy that you know, with 20%, 25% less talent, but knows I'm a 3-and-D guy, or I'm, you know, this backup point guard that turns the ball over once every 3 weeks. You know, I'm going to be there versus the guy that, you know, comes out of college and thinks that he's still the man, but you're playing behind CP3 and you just ain't the fucking man. It's just, you have to accept those realities. And so I always think there's like I always have a lot of respect for dudes that figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, okay, this is what I am in the league. And the best of them, and I put J.J. Redick in this category, they figure out what they need to do, because he didn't have an easy run. Like, he started in Orlando. Mm-hmm. He didn't always get minutes, this, that, and the other. But he figured out how to leverage his shooting, and he added enough little pieces to his game to be a serviceable defender. He added a couple pieces where he could leverage the fear of his shot into a little bit of playmaking, you know, certainly not point guard level, but it all worked, and he still evolved his game in a role. And that's to be commended and respected.
No, for sure. Well, we have reached the end of the show. That time flew by. I feel like
today.
Man.
Very quick
today. It flew by. You guys have been on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink. Don't forget, we're on all podcast streaming platforms, and we'll see you guys next week.
Next week, indeed.